Hi, my name is Lisa Ann Robinson. I am the blogger behind The Contented by Lisa Camille, which is a resource for women who want to live a life guided by faith and freedom. It is a little bit of a diary of my personal adventures, being a free spirit, unplugged from the norm. I make decisions that are unconventional, but are really grounded in my relationship with God, Jesus, and my intuition. And one of the things that I write about is my decision that I made about a year ago to stop having sex. Yep, I decided to take sex off the dating table and be celibate for a year. Now, I made that decision in October actually. It was October 2016. And I remember that day, the night before, I had a horrible one-night stand. Like one of those one-night stands where you wake up in the morning and you go, ugh, did I do that? Did that just happen? Can I scrub myself with a piece of thistle, please? I wasn't feeling very proud of myself for the decision that I had made the night before. And what's worse was that the young man that I slept with, for him it wasn't a one-night stand, and he was really into me, and he kept calling me, and I was like, dude, it was a one-night stand, like, move on. But it made me realize that, you know what, sex creates this attachment. Usually it's the other way around. Usually as a girl, when I sleep with a guy, I'm the one that's kind of being a bit clingy afterwards. But it was really an interesting experience to have it happen the other way, and have a man that I unfortunately wasn't interested in be a bit attached to me, primarily because we had had sex. And it made me think about how much sex ties us energetically, and it's not just a physical act as people would like you to think, but it's actually an act that where your energies, your chakras, the core essence of who you are is actually joined with another human being, and it takes a long time to sever those ties. And do I want to be having those ties with men that I am not particularly interested in, or men that I don't even know very well, who I've only known for a few hours? Do I want to go around keep having those kinds of relationships? And I decided that I didn't want that anymore. It you know, they say to keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result is insanity, and that's exactly what I was doing. I wanted to get married. I was looking for my husband. I was looking for my soulmate, and doing activities that were against that actual search. You know, like if you're looking for your husband, you have to be a wife. You have to carry yourself with respect and confidence and self-value, and the way I felt about myself and the way I conducted myself in my dating life was not representative of the kind of person that I wanted to be. But I didn't really have the courage or know how to actually make that happen. So I was kind of just stumbling along, doing the same thing over and over again, having these short interactions with men where I would meet them, like them, sleep with them, have them disappear, and, you know, be left heartbroken. And it just kept happening to me over and over and over again. And I was going, I just had to get off. I felt like a hamster on those wheels, and I was just like, I just need to get off this. It's not going anywhere. And the next day, actually, it's amazing how the universe works, because the day after that one night stand where I was feeling ugh, my sister called me from Jamaica, and she said, oh, I came across this book online, and you came to me, like, I think that you really need to read this book. And I was like, yeah, what is it? And it was The Wait, the book by Megan Good and Devon Franklin. And in it they spoke about their independent decisions to be celibate, and then coming together and waiting until marriage and they had sex, and how much it blessed them personally and their relationship. And I was like, boom, yeah, that's exactly what I need to do. That's it. You know, it was like a light just went off in my head. So I just said, you know what, I don't know if I could do it until I'm married, because I don't know when that might be. That's like to infinity and beyond. But I thought a year felt like a comfortable, doable, but challenging kind of time period. So I said, okay, let's go for a year. And I also wanted to work on my relationship with God and myself. So I said, okay, I'll stop having sex for a year. And I really invest my time and my energy into my relationship with God. At the time, it was God generally. I was a Christian, but I wasn't really actively going to church. So it was a kind of a general God at the time. But you know what? Over time, I set that intention, and God found me. Jesus found me, in that space. And in that year, I started going to church every single Sunday, and that changed me. I started praying more, reading the Bible every day, specifically spending time with Jesus and hearing his voice and having him talk to me. And at time, something kind of filled me. Before, when I was actively dating and I was sexually active, I had felt this kind of loneliness, or not loneliness, there's this void inside me where I felt like something wasn't right, something needed to be filled. And I thought that a relationship, a man, was what was gonna fill that for me. And in this year, it was filled by God. It was filled by that relationship with Jesus. And it's amazing when you have that relationship with Jesus, like naturally the things that you used to do before, you can't do them anymore. And it's not like you have to discipline yourself so much. It's just that you're like out of vibration with, like, your very essence, energy, aura, vibration changes, right? And I feel changed. Let me tell you, I am clearer, I'm happier, I'm more confident. I don't feel the need to go on the dating apps. Yes, I did have a great desire to go on a date, which I did have spoken about in another video. And that did happen for me. But I feel really good being single now, which I never experienced that before. I was always clasping, trying to get a relationship, but suddenly, after having had this year of being celibate, I've really just come to a real sense of contentment. Because that's why my blog is called Contented by Lisa Camille, because I'm really, truly at my core content and happy with who I am and where I am, and I don't feel all that loneliness and that yearning to be in a relationship that I was feeling just 12 months prior. I really feel like a different person. So the journey has been challenging at times, because I also felt quite isolated, because working on yourself, working on my relationship with God, I wasn't going out as much. Yes, I had friends, and I still had a bit of a social life, but because I wasn't dating that much, I did feel a bit isolated, and that was quite challenging. And that's still something that is I think is an aspect of the whole journey. You are gonna, if you explore doing this, you are gonna feel uncomfortable. It's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. And because it's so different from what you have done before, you're going to feel a little bit, it's going to feel uncomfortable for you. If you're considering it, don't be surprised by it. Like, any change requires discomfort, because you're becoming a new version of yourself, and that's a different person than who you were before, and that person does different things, and that whole metamorphosis takes a shifting, and it can be uncomfortable. What else has changed? I'm much more confident, much more assertive. Like, you automatically will develop that being celibate, because you have to tell people. You have to tell people this very personal thing, and you have to set clear boundaries. So having those conversations, telling people, going on, meeting a man, and very early on having to say, hey, we're not gonna have sex. I'm not sexually active. I'm celibate, and it's because of this and this and that. That grows you some cojones, let me tell you, having to say that, and you will want to get out of that conversation. You're gonna feel afraid of having to say it. Like, all of your stuff is gonna come up when you have to tell people. But it is the best personal development exercise that you can do, because it helps you to practice asserting your boundaries, which is useful in a variety of aspects of life. So I would, for anyone who's considering being celibate, come on this journey with me. I've enjoyed it so much, and I felt so touched by God's grace in this year that I have decided that I'm gonna keep going. And I'm not stopping at a year. I'm actually gonna stay celibate until I meet my husband and get married, which I'm 36, so I'm still single. I don't know how long this is gonna be, but I'm leaving it to God and having him sort that out. The other thing that I would suggest, is please join me on my blog, contentedbylisacamille.com. Subscribe to my blog, and get updates on my stories. Follow me on Facebook. My Facebook page is contentedbylisacamille.com, and get in touch if you have questions about what it's like being celibate. And I'm happy to have a chat. I also offer coaching if you're interested in having some one-on-one support. So the path is totally worth it. I would absolutely recommend it. But see where you are at in your life, and if it's a change that feels really, really right for you.